several physicians' healing therapies and co-author of Prescription for Drug Alternatives and Prescription for Natural Cures. He was the host of Natural Healing with Dr. Stengler, a series of health shows that played on PBS for several seasons and continues to be seen on cable stations nationwide. He practices what he preaches at his state-of-the-art Stengler Center for Integrative Medicine in Encinitas, California. Did I pronounce that correctly, Dr. Stengler?
Yeah, pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, and people can find you at markstengler.com. That's Stengler, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, you know what we're talking about. And by the way, I have your book right here. I absolutely love it. Outside the Box, Cancer Therapies with Dr. Mark Stengler and Dr. Paul Anderson, alternative therapies that treat and prevent cancer. So, you know, I talk to people about this all the time, about their diet and how we really have to think about the foods that we eat because they do have an impact on our body. And why is that? Why do they have such a big impact on our body, Dr. Stengler?
Well, good question. I mean, it's certainly one of the things, at least in conventional medicine, they agree with holistic doctors on, that the research is very clear. A vast majority of cancers can be prevented with proper dietary approaches, and because there's a few different reasons. Number one, our cells are designed to interact with foods, so we can improve our immune system, we can improve our detoxification, we can actually affect how our cells divide properly or not by the nutrients we provide in the foods we eat. On the other hand, if we're eating poorly, processed foods and, you know, the simple sugars and all the things we all know are a problem, then that creates poor cell division. It creates inflammation. Chronic inflammation definitely is one of the root causes, or is at a root of causing cancer. So it's very difficult to have a good cancer preventative program or help someone with cancer unless you address the diet very intensively.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there something about our DNA, our cells, that receives messages?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a whole field called epigenetics. And so our cells receive messages from our environment and as well as the foods that we eat. And again, it influences how our cells function, how our cells divide. So you're absolutely right. That's why with the foods we eat, we can influence either healthy cell division or unhealthy cell division in terms of cancer.
Right.
So you're right.
Because I think so many people, I know I have a couple of friends that I'm thinking of right now that their parents died of cancer, so they're so afraid that they're going to get cancer as well. But you really can change your genetics, can't you? So that you have, you can lessen your chances of getting cancer quite a bit, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this has been studied on tens of thousands of people around the world, a variety of different types of studies, and we talk about them in the book. But you're right. Well, we can't change the genes we inherit. Research is conclusive now. You can change the way those genes act or express themselves, so to speak. And that includes how your immune system functions and how your cells divide properly or not. So, yes, that's a very positive thing people should be aware of. So it's you know, it's not a death sentence if someone in the family's had cancer. Matter of fact, it's only a very small percent of cancers that are strongly genetic. Even traditional, conventional associations like American Cancer Society will tell you that. American Cancer Association or the National Cancer Institute, it's still a very small percent of cancers that are strongly genetically related. That leaves diet and lifestyle and stress and toxins we're exposed to. A lot of things we do have control over.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and your book is quite extensive and yet not difficult to read. I really find it very friendly, if you will. So let's talk about this. What are some of the most well-studied diets for cancer? Because the ketogenic diet is so popular right now, and so many people are using it to fight cancer. What do you say to that?
You know, we do use it for some. It depends on the patient. You know, it depends on their body type, what their weight is. There's different, things we have to take into consideration. Sometimes we do use it for patients, especially those who are overweight in the short run, and then switch to more of a plant-based diet to get things under control. Certainly, it does have some preliminary research good for different types of brain cancer. So it is one of the diets we use, usually not in the long run, but in the short term, it's one that we often use. I'd say the most well-studied diet by far, in terms of actual published research, would be the Mediterranean diet.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I always say use a modified Mediterranean diet because in America our grains aren't healthy and people eat too many grains. So, we focus on that. And there's other diets we talk about here, like an antifungal diet. My friend Doug Kaufman came up with years ago. Yeah, I know you guys know him. Mm-hmm. And that's very interesting because there is emerging research showing that infectious agents, including fungi, can be at the root of a number of types of cancers. And so if you're on a low-sugar diet and you're not feeding these organisms which create inflammation and cellular changes, there is something to that.
Well, and Doug Hoffman has been on the show recently a couple of different times, and he definitely makes some very valid points. The thing that confuses me is a couple of years ago, all the mushroom extract supplements came out. What do you say about those? Is that like a conflicting research, if you will?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, I think if you talk to Doug, I don't think he has a problem with using the extracts from those mushrooms. Like if you look at the vast majority of studies done on medicinal mushrooms like maitake, Coriolis, versicolor, which, by the way, in Japan and China are considered cancer drugs.
Really?
Routinely, yes. Yeah, they're actually considered cancer drugs in Japan and China. They're given orally, like we do here in America. They use them intravenously in injection form. They're an accepted form of cancer therapy amongst oncologists in those countries. And fortunately, we can at least use the oral version here as dietary supplements.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's an agreement. If you use the extracts where we're concentrating the components called the beta-glucans, which activate the immune system in many beneficial ways, I think Doug has more of a problem of, consuming a lot of moldy mushrooms as foods and so forth.
Right.
That's kind of my sense, yeah.
Yeah, and the fungus and in corns, it makes sense because it's kind of like any natural herb, if you will. Like, let's talk about cannabinoids. Okay, so there are some wonderful ingredients, cannabidiol and cannabinoids that are in many different types of herbs, and like rosemary and black pepper and things like that are all very natural. That it's the extract, if you will. So you're not getting the fungus from the mushroom; you're getting the benefits of whatever element that's at the root of the mushroom.
Yeah, from the therapeutic components.
Yeah,
I mean, that's right. And, something like cancer, obviously diet's foundational, but, often we have to go beyond just the diet. And that's why we in our book, documented very intensively the nutritional supplements, which are reputable, which have the data behind them, especially the human data, showing that they're safe and effective. And there's a number of medicinal mushrooms in there, and the cannabinoids as well. Yeah,
let's talk about that. I want to ask you, what are some of the top supplements that must be considered for cancer? We just talked about a couple of them. I did not know that either about the mushroom extract, that they use that in Asia. That's fascinating, actually.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of my favorites, because there's more than 400 published studies on it, I've used it with patients for many years. It's called turkey tail, also known as Coriolis, and that's, again, one of those mushroom extracts we have from Japan and China. That has, over 400 published studies, and there's studies on it showing it helps people who are getting chemotherapy and have tumors. It helps with the side effects of chemotherapy. There's been studies on it with breast cancer. There's been studies showing people with a history of colon cancer, it reduces their risk of recurrence very significantly. So that's one I'm a big fan of. Another one's maitake. Another one is a medicinal mushroom, maitake extract. Been more studied, say, with breast cancer. I also like the cannabinoids, which you talked about. They help people with pain, anxiety. They have direct anti-cancer effects. And there's, simpler ones, too. I mean, we can't forget. We've got things like vitamin D. I mean, there's studies showing that people with more optimal blood vitamin D levels have much, greater reduced risk of a variety of different types of cancers because it helps the immune system, helps to control inflammation, helps with normal cell division. So I think we talk about 30 or 40 of them in our book, just so people have the information to research these things.
Yeah, the book is so good. And, I'm looking at the cover of the Wellbeing Journal from just, I think it's a past issue, but it says curcumin reverses cancer. What do you say about that?
Yeah, now curcumin is definitely one of our top 10 that we recommend. If you look at the studies, it basically helps to regulate the signaling pathways that cause tumors to grow. And so it's very unique in that way. I'd say that, the one downside of the tumor compared to some of the other things we talk about, it doesn't have as much of the human data, but certainly I think it's one of the better supplements for people to use.
Absolutely. Okay, so can you tell us about intravenous vitamin C? Because so many people, including my dear friend that passed away, was doing the intravenous vitamin C.
Well, intravenous vitamin C at our clinic is just a standard therapy we use. It's one of our, big guns, if you will, to help people with cancer. Why? Because there's a number of human published studies now, not just one or a couple, but a number of them in mainstream medical journals showing that intravenous vitamin C is safe and effective for people with cancer, even if they're getting chemotherapy and radiation. It's been shown to reduce the side effects. But intravenous vitamin C has many mechanisms of action. One of them is it actually activates your genes which suppress tumor formation. Number two, it generates hydrogen peroxide in your blood, which sounds strange, but our immune system does this naturally. Our immune system generates hydrogen peroxide to kill infections, to kill cancer cells. And intravenous vitamin C has been shown to be a safe way to augment that process and actually kill cancer cells in the bloodstream. So, I'm not saying it's a cure by itself, but it certainly is one of the better, more powerful therapies we have.
Well, I was reading, I don't remember the country, and I probably shouldn't even bring it up, but it was a doctor, a medical doctor in like Finland, let's say, somewhere over there that had shut down sepsis with intravenous vitamin C, and yet we don't practice that here in the United States. But, he had remarkable results with saving lives using the vitamin C.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. That came out in the past year. I saw that. Sepsis, where people get infections that spread throughout the bloodstream, very difficult to treat.
Yeah, so a lot of people die from it.
Well, yeah, so when people got intravenous vitamin C combined with conventional therapy, it's significantly better than people who did just a regular, antibiotics and medications. All those people die. So, these are things that, your hospitals should be using. They're inexpensive, they're cost-effective, and they're safe. But, unfortunately, our institutions have a lot of biases towards, these safe natural treatments.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to have to go to break. I'm going to have you come back regularly because there's so many more questions I have for you that I didn't get to. Again, it's always a pleasure. Dr. Stengler, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. And the name of Dr. Stengler's book is Outside the Box. It's got a picture of a square orange on the front of it. It's really a cool book, Cancer Therapies, Outside the Box. Check it out. Get it. I got mine at Amazon.com. We'll be right back. We've got Daniel Tague and Rosalie Robinson coming up. You're listening to One Life Radio. It's mistletoe season, and you know what that means. You've got to be chill and have minty fresh breath. You never know when you might want to kiss someone. The H-Hemp Company offers their Super Breath Blast CBD spray that is my absolute favorite hemp oil product on the market. It just makes me feel happy, especially during the crazy holiday season. Its small size makes it easy to throw in your purse or pocket, so you're never without it. Give the gift of fresh breath this season with a CBD kick. 2 or 3 sprays does the trick and will leave you feeling completely refreshed. Go for it. Go to thehempcompany.com. Put 4 in your cart and use the code OLR1 to buy 3 and get 1 free. That's OLR1. Trust me, it's a really cool gift.
Hi, this is Vaughn Eaglin. As a licensed professional counselor and supervisor, I spend my career helping people cope with emotional problems. But today, I want to talk to you about nutrition. People ask me all the time for nutrition and weight loss advice, and I always find myself recommending a raw vegan protein, a food supplement called Warrior Blend by Sun Warrior. I wasn't always active and fit. In fact, I was very overweight as a child, and as a counselor, I must emphasize the importance of the mind-body connection. A clean body helps with a clean mind. Start today with Sun Warrior Blend Raw Vegan Protein. For more information, go to sunwarrior.com and start living clean today.
Hello, I'm Allie McGraw for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Our animal companions rely on us, especially during a natural disaster. If you're forced to evacuate your home, do not leave your animals behind. Visit helpinganimals.com.
Wellbeing Journal is a remarkable bi-monthly health publication esteemed by intelligent readers worldwide. It's available in print or digital, single issues or subscription. Its focus is on living a happy, healthy life and preventing or healing illnesses naturally. Preventing or healing cancer, arthritis, cardiovascular conditions, and digestive issues, as well as nutritional solutions for optimal health are regular subjects. Learn more at wellbeingjournal.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Barker. This is my friend Benny. Before you buy cosmetics, personal care, or household products, you be sure they have not been tested on animals. Everything from floor cleaner to shampoo is poured into animals' eyes and down their throats. They suffer intensely. Some even go blind. The price is never right for products tested on animals. Visit PETA.org for a list of cruelty-free